around in the energy lap, but then they're going to get a good look at each other for the way back. But Jan Frodeno now, he is just about to make his way back up to the top of Palani Road, and then he will descend down to the finish line. But look at this, you know, just inside of, 7 hours and 30 minutes of racing right now, Michael. You know that just going past the Honokaha turnout, he's only, 5.5 kilometers to the finish line.
That's right, and sports fans, let me tell you this, Ben Hoffman has found 4th place. He's launched himself ahead of Cameron Wurf, running 6:10 per mile, the exact pace as this man on camera. Ben Hoffman, it appears, is going to run out of real estate, but let's not say that until that fat lady is singing at the finish line. And here's the story. Jan Frodeno, Tim O'Donnell, those two pretty well locked in 1st and 2nd. Kienle in that kind of swing spot, holding 3rd. Ben Hoffman hunting him down. Cameron Wurf just lost a step. The Swiss athlete, Philipp Kutne, through 20.5 miles, hanging on to 6th. Now, bear in mind, this man on camera, the only one through 22, and he's about to start that rise, Greg. One little rise before the final hill into town.
Yeah, I think your top 5 might be set. The only change I think I can see happening is Kootenay overtaking Cameron Wurf for, 6th and 5th positions there. But otherwise, I think it's safe to say that, Jan Frodeno is going to take this year's World Championship. I think that O'Donnell's going to move into 2nd. I think that Sebastian's going to maintain his spot right there into 3rd place. But, Ben Hoffman's definitely had a great run today, and he's back to great form. This time last year, Ben Hoffman and Jan Frodeno were sharing the same injury, and then just after that, Lionel Sanders went and did the same thing. So it's a very common thing, when these athletes get very, very lean and their muscles are really pulling on those bones and, really working hard. So look at Timothy O'Donnell right now. He's got his pace still happening. His head's been sitting in the same position. His arm carriage is really, really nice. And you can tell that he's just, he's in a very good, cruise controlling situation at the moment. It's, not the prettiest, toe off, but that's okay because he's just driving those hips. And just like Danielle Reef, he's really working, those gluteal muscles at the moment. But, hey, get yourself to the finish line as best as you possibly can.
We've said it all over and over again, there's no style points for Ironman, but Tim O'Donnell has this is his signature form. When his chin is back and head cocked, that is Tim doing work. And
yes,
the man came from a short course background with a powerful swim bike, and he honed and developed that run to where now it is one of the best in the biz, clearly. So this man, average form back in June, he got 3rd, he made it happen. What really was validation or qualification. Now Tim O'Donnell meeting his 2019 crowning moment. This is the stuff he lives for, right? I'm telling you, Didi, you got this.
I'm telling you, the story of Tim O'Donnell isn't. We know he's talented. 4th place. He's got all the goods. We know he can swim. We know he can bike. He's done the work on his run. We know he can run. He has not run. He has not run on the ground very much at all due to that injury, and he's made tremendous use of the other tools at his resource, and he's putting it all together for what may well be the performance of his career so far in a year where he has done not as much run training, maybe even by half than he's done earlier in his career.
It's going to be great to see baby Izzy down at the finish line too, to see Daddy getting across the line in a podium position today, and Mummy's out there as well. Marinda Carfrey is out there in our women's race. But let's get caught up on our women's race right now. This is Lucy Charles Barclay coming down into the last right-hand turn in the energy lap. She'll run out to the turnaround and turn around, but this is Annie Haug. She is really powering right now. She can feel it. She can see Lucy Charles just up ahead, and that elastic band is just about to snap, and it's going to be all of Annie Haug's as she makes her way out. The catch is going to inevitably happen before the turnaround point on the energy lap fields here. You can see that this is a very, very hard part of the course. The wind is all down, just a little bit of it, but the heat is really oppressive at this point in time. Lucy Charles is feeling the heat from behind, and that is Annie Haug, who is now coming up to try and snatch the first place.
And what I'm anxious to see is how Lucy Charles-Barclay handles this pass. She's been in the lead since the start of the race. She doesn't have a lot of experience. We know she came into this race thinking, I'm the one that's going to beat Danielle Lariffe. I'm going to be the one that beats Danielle Lariffe, and I don't even need a great day to do it. I'm ready. I have the goods. She was very, very confident.
That's probably going to happen.
Well, it is. It is absolutely going to happen. But what she's not prepared for is being passed by Anna Haug. She didn't envision this being the battle, and how is she going to handle that in her mind all year long? She's been dreaming, I'm going to come off the bike with Danielle Lariffe, and I'm going to run away from Danielle Lariffe. And Danielle Lariffe right now not factoring into this position, into this equation at all. But what she's not prepared for is this pass here, and how is she going to handle that for an athlete that doesn't have, she's got the maturity, but she doesn't have a ton of experience. Neither one of these women do out here. How is Lucy Charles-Barclay going to handle this?
I think she's got the game plan. To be honest, she's ready for it. Now, here's what this woman is fighting, and she is winning the Fighter of the Day award in my book so far. Here's the story. Anna Haug has just taken her time to make the pass. She's going to come through this aid station. They've got still a nice little stretch. They actually, guys, go further down into the Energy Lab than we used to due to the nature of this course. They've got to go a little bit further on. Anna Haug is going to come up. Lucy Charles is going to fight. I tell you right now, this is going to be head-to-head for a bit, and then I do feel like Anna Haug will come atop. But man, Lucy Charles, a fighter through and through.
And through 15 miles now, Sarah Crowley also making her way only 3:40 back. So again, we have a race here for the podium.
Yeah, we sure do, but they've just passed Maurice Clavel from Germany. He was one of our early bike leaders today, so here goes the pass. You can see that now Annie Haug is coming up onto the shoulder of Lucy Charles-Barclay. I don't think there'll be too many words exchanged right here. Maybe one of good luck, Annie, you're looking good, and one of maybe Lucy, keep it going. But here we go. Annie Haug coming up onto the shoulder right now of Lucy Charles-Barclay. This is where Germany takes the lead for the very first time in history on the women's run course here. You can see that now it is Lucy Charles-Barclay and also Annie Haug just going by.
And you could see it exactly as you said, Dee Dee. It deflated her. You could see you could visibly see the run form change. The fight is still there inside her head, inside her heart, but physically you could see a draining. But watch this. She's latching on, and this is what it's all about. When you are on that podium, when you're in first, you don't let it go.
But let me ask you this. So she is now surging, trying to hold on to the back of Anna Haug, but what she doesn't know is that Sarah Crowley isn't far behind. We talked about surges being dangerous, especially at this point in the race. If Lucy Charles-Barclay tries to hold on to the back of Anna Haug and does a little bit too much, is she putting herself in jeopardy of actually losing second place as well?
I think it's a good move. I don't think so, because in the end, guess what? She came here to win. She hasn't even told herself that it's over yet. She follows the sport. She knows that Anna Haug had an injury. She knows that she's underdone. She's thinking, there's a piece of her thinking, but if she cracks. She's also thinking, I'd rather die trying for second than conservatively hold third. To me at this point, the fight is for what is going up the road, and if she loses a half a step in the closing Ks, so be it. Lucy Charles did not come here to be conservative.
I think that Lucy just needs to, just keep the same pace as, what she's been running the last, couple of miles or so, and it seems to be just fine at this point in time. Look, you just can't talk enough about Annie Haug and how she's run this marathon right now. And when you look back at last year's time, the 2:55, well, it speaks volumes of, what she's capable of doing. And we knew that the 10-minute deficit, 10 minutes from what they ran last year as a 2:55 as opposed to Lucy Charles-Barclay's 3:05, with an improved run leg. So that was probably going to happen, but the bike distance, when they got off, at the end of the 112 miles was a telling story. Danielle Lariffe is hanging in there in our top 10 women's, right around 7th place.
Well, she's also rolling so well and fighting so hard that there's a good chance she's going to overtake Carrie Lester. She's only a minute down from Carrie Lester. She's maintaining solid pace with Heather Jackson, who is now in 5th. We've talked about it. If the race comes down to the final 10 or 12K, a lot of this women's top 8 is still yet to be determined. Danielle Lariffe also, she did not come here, or I'll say this. She said, look, Of course I think about 5 in a row. Of course I want to win. Of course I think about the records. But what I'm really after is to squeeze the best of myself out. If I can squeeze the best of myself out, I'm happy. And right now, she's trying to squeeze the best out of that. So this, again, that long look at the far, far end of the energy lab. They've extended it from days in the past just due to the nature of the course and our new format. But Anna Haug, she's going to turn. She can glance at the watch and see where everyone is, but I think that she knows right now that nobody is matching her pace.
Yeah, 25 years ago we went out to this section of the course, but like you say, Michael, they've extended it out because we've shortened the other end of the course at Hawaii Park, where we used to go out to St. Peter's Church and make the turnaround. But today at the Hoka on a turnaround, it is Annie Haug. She's the new leader in our women's race right now in the 2019 Vega Ironman World Championship. And there goes the pass right there. That is Lucy Charles-Barclay losing a little bit of time at about 10 seconds at the turnaround. Through the Red Bull zone, Annie Haug goes, and now she is in pursuit of the finish line.
At this point, it is, again, a management game. You can assess where everyone is. And to be frank, you've seen her pass professional men. These two running on the other side, those men are blown, and she has come through. They're still fighting it out, kind of getting it done. But as you watch Anna Haug, she is in full management mode. She has to continue to take the quantum energy bar, get the goo, manage that Gatorade endurance. All of those things have to go in. You cannot stop. Even Frodeno, he's hurting now a lot. But he's got to manage.
Yep, there's 3 grinds on the run course here, and one of those is up Palani. One of those is up the Energy Lab, and the last one, this is it. He's on it right now. It's the grind from Makala Road all the way to the top of Palani Road on the Queen Ka'umano Highway. Once he gets himself to the top of this road, he'll make a right-hand turn, and then there's only 3 more turns to the finish line. So Frodeno is just asking, he is just sensing that everything's just sort of, tightening up a little bit. So he's asking that body to give him everything, summoning all the energy in his body to come forward now, because he needs to keep that stride going to keep others at bay. And that is Timothy O'Donnell, Sebastian Kinley, and Ben Hoffman putting the pressure on. Frodeno still looks down at the watch there and makes sure that his heart rate is right where it's supposed to be. The stride length is right where it is. And the men's world championship record at 7 hours and 52 minutes and 39 seconds is still in jeopardy. Here we can see that Jan Frodeno, he's making his way to the top of the hill now. If he gets to the top of the hill, we've only got about 1.5 miles to run. So if you do the math, that's all going to come down to around about a 5:45 mile to finish off with, and he's going to have a shot at it.
He's got a shot for sure. I think at this point, too, the record's important. He missed out on the historic day last year, and he said that stung. But redemption is already in his hands. You come back and you get that 3rd title. We've seen USA do it, Australia do it. We've never seen a 3-time German champ. This is it. We saw Canada do it. I'll give Peter Reed that nod. But right here, and the women's different story, right here, Jan Frodeno is making his dream come back to a reality. I want to step back, Didi, and you can give me a little insight if you would. The men's race, 22 miles in, we just saw Joe Skipper take another step up. Let's take a look. Behind Frodeno, O'Donnell holding 2nd, Kinley 3rd, Hoffman firmly in 4th, Cam Werf in 5th, Skipper in 6th, and we do see now Kootenay slipping with Curry and Leiferman 8th and 9th. It is a battle right up in there. We just have to see. What do you think? More shakeups? I think probably.
I think a few shakeups down around 7, 8, 9, 10 for sure. I think this is where, as we said, time gaps that seemed insurmountable on the bike now just melt away, particularly in the closing 10 kilometers of this marathon. But not for this man, not for Jan Frodeno. Again, really painful for him to sit and watch that record-setting year last year, have to watch that from the sidelines, put a fire in his belly. As he said, he had a slower start to the year because of the injury. Maybe taught him a lesson that he had gone into the start of the year a little too fit, and he has peaked for this race, and this race only sat out the 70.3 World Championships because that double didn't work out for him last year. So he's put everything into this race.
Frodeno is going to smash 8 hours today, and also he's going to take that record down by a little bit. Perhaps it's going to come all the way down to the finish line here today. But he did it on a day where there was wind. He did it on a day where it was not breathless and benign. It was very windy in that area out of Waikoloa all the way to Harvey and return. But today, he put it down with a solid performance at 90 miles. He really accelerated away from the competition. And it was away from Tim O'Donnell, who was doing the brunt of the work, the brunt of the pace setting, all the way back from Mauna Kea to Monalani, all the way up to Scenic Point. But then Frodeno came to the front. Timothy O'Donnell set himself up with a great swim today at 47.37. He got onto the bike and he was off in second place. But on the run today, after only doing 3 races this year, suffering some injuries, working through those, and yes, he is a father, he is a husband, his wife is Marinda Carvery. They share the duties, they share the babysitting with baby Izzy. Yes, they do have help, but it is still very difficult to do. Jan Frodeno now has hit Palani Road with 1.2 miles to go, and he is in very good shape to break the world record. The world record is 7:52, and now we're looking at 9 minutes over 1.2 miles. Guys, this is coming all the way down to the line.
I think he's got it. I think that this will be the crown, the jewel in his crown, right, Didi? I mean, coming down Palani, he knows the time. He looked at it. This is the quad crusher, but he's waving. Craig Alexander was digging through this section to get that record. Right now, you can still see Jan embracing it. He's back.
Yeah, he absolutely is back, and he's back with force. Again, going through this last aid station, still taking on aid. I don't think one professional athlete runs this section, of course, without thinking about Paula Newby-Fraser and the meltdown she had on Hualalai Street. These athletes dotting their I's, crossing their T's, making sure that they leave nothing to chance. He is going to get the job done, still being very, very careful on top of his hydration. Once he gets to the bottom of this hill, turns on Kuakini down Hualalai, he'll start to enjoy it. I think right now he's just looking forward to getting to that finish line.
I think he's allowed himself to give a wave, and all of this right here is something that he has had really 2 years to think about, 3 years to think about. Last year was rough. He said it was the worst day being here October 13th and watching the race go off without him. Now he's going to embrace every moment, every holler, every scream, every snap of the camera, every fist pump, and he deserves it. So Jan Frodeno, another historic day here in Kona.
And look at the support that he's getting at the bottom of Palani Hill right now. The Hoka One Arch just representing inside of 1 mile to go. The record, 7 hours, 52 minutes and 39 seconds. That is the World Championship race record, not the overall world record in the global series of races. But now, Jan Frodeno looks set to possibly take that down. He's going to be a 3-time Ironman world champion, and look at that. He wants it. He's thrusting that upper body. He's calling for every bit of energy coming out of those legs right now. He has muscles that are that sinewy. He's a very tall athlete. He stands 6'3" tall, and look at this guy going. He's overtaking some of the athletes just heading out in the first mile of the race, where he's completing his 25th. He's inside of 1 mile to go right now. 2 more right-hand turns. That would be Hualalai Road, Ali'i Drive, the famed finish line of this iconic race, arguably the most grueling one-day sporting event in the world. Jan Frodeno is now making his way to the finish line.
Predictions have him coming in under 750 with this pace he's currently running. And again, this is math, but the math we have show him at a 7:49, so taking 2-3 minutes off of that course record. And again, this is not something that he probably started thinking about at the beginning of the day. The goal, get back, be competitive, go for the win then, and then once you're in this final stretch, you can start to realize, wait a second, this is mine. People will yell it to him. He's looked at his watch, but this, I'm predicting a 750 or a tick under based on what he's doing right now.
I've sat down with Jan Frodeno before, and I've asked him, Jan, at 38 years of age, what makes you tick? And he goes, Greg, I love the sport. I've done whatever, you need to do in the sport, but I love to keep on doing it and pushing myself. He has a hashtag, and it is #BecauseICan. And today, if he breaks that world record, the world championship record right here in Kailua Kona, #BecauseICan, Hashtag IMWC.
Didi, look at that smile.
Yeah, he's going to enjoy this. He knows how painful it was to be here last year. Obviously physically because he had the injury, but also emotionally because he had to sit on the sidelines, and he is going to enjoy every moment of this.
I'm calling if Jan Frodeno gets across the line and he breaks that world record, he's going straight to the deck. And it's going to be a little bit of time before he gets up, but he will be met down there by Emma Snowsill. Emma Frodeno, his beautiful wife. She's also a champion, an Olympic champion in the same year in 2008. And on Thursday night, Emma, his lovely wife, was inducted into the Australian Sports Hall of Fame. So this family has a great reputation of being incredible athletes. But Jan Frodeno right now, he is the man of the hour inside of half a mile to go. He's 7 minutes and 50 seconds up on Timothy O'Donnell in second place. So Frodeno has really put the medal down, the pedal to the metal. He's turning right, Huala Line Road, a quarter of a mile to go. He's trying to take the inside line. He knows he's on world championship record pace. And look at that, overtaking those age group athletes as he makes his way down to the last right-hand turn. Right turn onto Ali'i Drive, and that's it for the day.
That's it. We're looking at it right here. It is, this is the moment, Hualalai. This is the hot corner on the run. This is the second time he's run this stretch, and that fabled stretch of Ali'i Drive is just around that next corner.
Didi, Michael, give us your honest opinion. Did you think on a day today with wind and the very, very hard conditions up in Hawaii that somebody could break 7 hours and 52 minutes?
I did not think the course record would go down today. When we saw the swell in the swim today, we saw the winds up in Hawaii. We know how humid it's been all week. I did not think that record was in jeopardy.
I did, but not all day long. You know when I thought it was when he rode away at the airport, when he dropped everyone and distanced himself from everyone. That was when I said this man came here to make his mark. So right now chasing down nobody up the road except for Island Breeze and the celebratory torch. But this, folks,
that torch runner's going to have a heart attack.
No, he's going to earn his money today, especially with bare feet as he makes his way down Ali'i Drive right now. Jan Frodeno is going to soak it up here at 38 years of age. At the 2008 Olympic Games, he was first place, collecting the gold medal. That was one of the things that he wanted to strike off his list. Another thing that he wanted to strike off was an Ironman World Championship victory. He did that in 2016. He came back, in 2015. He came back in 2016, and he was able to repeat as champion. Over the next 2 years, he suffered some injuries, a back injury in 2017. And then in 2018, after he won the Ironman 70.3 World Championship in Port Elizabeth, South Africa, he tore his sacrum and a stress fracture. He spent the most part of the winter out as an injured athlete, but he rebuilt himself and he now reinvented himself as the Ironman World Champion. Jan Frodeno today was one of our early swim leaders. He dominated the final part of the bike ride, and on the marathon, he was simply brilliant. Today, he's going to bring it home for his third Ironman World Championship victory, and now creating history as the first German athlete to win 3 Ironman World Championships. The 2019 Ironman World Champion, the Vega Ironman World Champion is Jan Frodeno of Germany, and along the way, he has taken the World Championship record. The World Championship record comes down today, 7 hours and 51 minutes. We'll wait for the official time to come in. There he goes, getting the championship wreath going over the head there. Jan Frodeno, once again, the champion, and a new run course record. No, not a run course record, but a new championship record with a time of 2 hours, 42 minutes and 43 seconds. Emma Frodeno also just meeting him at the finish line here, inducted into the Australian Sports Hall of Fame 2 nights ago, joins him at the finish line, now being met by his agent. That is Felix Rudiger, but this is what they've been training for a very long time.